Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody's doing alright this morning. I'm just coming on to quickly show you a project that I've made as part of Pocket Letters UK. Just ignore that mess. It's not there, it's in your imagination. And I've made this pocket letter for a very special friend, and it will be going to her on Monday. She'll probably be surprised because I'm normally really late with things, so she won't believe that I've done it so fast. But I worked quite late last night and I've been up this morning finishing it. And it is this is my vintage Shabby fabric pocket letter, complete with vintage images. Now, I first saw Crafty Irene do a fabric pocket letter, and I thought, wow, what a fab idea. And then I discussed it with my friend Emily, and she actually sent me one, bless her, which inspired me. And then I decided I'd make my first fabric pocket letter. Stands to reason, seeing as I mostly work with fabric. So what I've done is I've used felt as the backgrounds. Okay, the idea being there that it would slide in and out of the pockets easier. And then I've just used literally bits and bobs of just leftovers and what have you, and bits of wedding applique and cut up small pieces. You know, I've always got bits of lace that I'll cut pieces out of, and I keep them. I've got various bags like this, just full of bits and bobs. And then I've got little mini doilies on there. I've got bits of wedding applique. I have a tub here that I keep all the spare bits of, flatbacks in, that, as opposed to ones on a roll. So I've used up some of those, and yeah, I have used hot glue instead of fabric glue because I wanted to do it quicker, but I've used it sparingly. Just turn my glue gun off before it sets on fire. And the images I was sent by Patricia here on YouTube, so thank you for those, Patricia. I have used them. I put a comment up on Facebook about domino tiles and inches, and where to go and get some really nice ones if you wanted to perhaps buy some, although buying images really goes against my nature, but I'm not very good at resizing. And Patricia very kindly emailed me loads and loads, and I printed them out and I have been using them. So thanks to Patricia for that. So just thought I'll come and show you. So they're just very basically the squares of felt, which I've cut the same as you would your paper if you're doing a pocket letter. I have got this ruler here, which was my first ever paper cutter that I bought when I first started crafting. It's rather pathetic, isn't it? But on this mat, it works because you can line your felt up on your squares, and then you can just cut it using that blade, and it will cut through your felt perfectly fine. And then you're getting nice straight edges, you see. The only thing you've got to bear in mind when you're doing fabric ones is you've got to avoid the temptation to have dangly bits and frilly bits off the side. It's got to stay within the parameters, obviously, else it won't fit in your pocket. So on here I've got several layers. I've started off with like a doily, a really big old mat, and I've used it on a few and then cut it into pieces. A bit of frill trim, little bits of flower, applique guppy trim that I've had left over on this here, and then I've just lined the little image with some beads. Now some of the images I did line with felt and stick them on, but then that made them, thinking that'd be better, but then that made them a bit dimensional, so I've literally just stuck the I've used cardstock, but very lightweight cardstock through my printer. It's not just paper, it's very light cardstock. So I've just literally glued it straight on. It's fine. It works fine. And then you can just carry on over the top. I just need to check it out for glue strands. And then I've just put 2 rows of iridescent beaded trim around that one. This one I've used, that was a domino tile. This one's a little inchy that I've used of Lily Elise, and I've just added a piece of wedding applique that I think that came from Lynn Kent, and then some offcuts, and again I've got the table mat underneath as a base, and then I've got one of these little tiny doodads. Can you see that? I bought these thinking I'd put them in my shop because they were really cute, and when they come they're like baby's teeth. They're tiny, so I'm not putting them in my shop. I've been gifting them and using them You live and learn, don't you? Remember to look at your sizes. And then again here I've used a lovely piece of wedding applique. I think this one's from Florence, I'm not sure. Some more of this guppy trim, some lace that I've had gifted, and some leftover bits of flatback pearls. And then this one I've used some burlap that I had left over on a roll. Sometimes when you sell lace, you get small amounts left over, because a decent lace seller and a decent fabric seller always leaves you a small amount to make up for you know, ends of rolls, whatever. And the ends of rolls are what I keep. Some people put them in kits and sell them off. I don't. I keep them and I use them for my projects. Sorry if my camera's wobbling a bit. I've got my stand up quite high because I'm using a new camera on my new phone. So this is another offcut, stuck a little bow, small offcuts, little inch tile, my flat back. So I just need to double check. What I need to do is just, if you've got loads of glue strands, you just put your heat gun over it really quickly like that, and it'll shrink all the glue strands and melt them, and you won't have all spider webs. This is one of my favourite ones. This is the first one that I did. So there's a lot of detail on this one. With the little offcuts, and we've got a little doily there, and I've cut these off from bits of lace, and then I've got another one there and another one there. So there's a lot of detail on that one. And then this one here, this is a really pretty one as well, with some lace applique and some little rolled ribbons, and again some cut-offs. I love using that. I need to get some more of that lace. I think that's all I've got left. And I like cutting these little fan pieces out because they look awesome. And then this is another one of my favourites. I've used some, I've got quite a lot of these on the roll that I had gifted from Rachel, who I believe lives in the Netherlands, so that's where it comes from. I've got it in various colours, so I've been using it, and it's nice and fryer. And again, I've layered again, and then I've made a little doily flower out of little tiny doilies that I bought off Lynn Kent, because sometimes she sells the really little small ones, and they're awesome. And then I've used cut-ups of lace again, and then this little tiny, it's a button, crocheted button, and Lynn Kent made that for me. She's put tiny little beads in and a little diamante, but inside that crocheting is a little button. And then this is another one that I've done. I kept this one quite basic because I wanted the picture of Lily to stand out. Lily Elise, she's my favourite vintage image. When I moved in the house that I'm in now, there was a huge picture of her in my living room, which I took down because it was in a big dark wood frame, and it's not really my cup of tea. And I didn't know who she was until I started crafting, and I saw her image everywhere, and obviously she was an actress. Anyway, I'm digressing. Another piece of wedding applique and just some little crochet trim. You don't have to put an awful lot on. And then this one, I went for this one because she'd got quite a colourful dress, and another lady that I'm sending it to likes blues and greens because she lives near the sea. So I picked that one, but I just thought it looked really pretty with the printed burlap, and we've got a little piece of wedding applique and a little rolled ribbon, just little bits and bobs. And you literally just put them together, quite straightforward. I did have them all in order, I can't remember now. So there you go. You can also use this idea to make this type of thing, which was a big inspiration that Lynn Kent made me, which are the little mini hangings on a clip. So it's the same principle. The only thing with the pocket letters is you can't have all the dangly fancy bits because obviously it's got to go in your pocket. But you could transform them into the little pins if you wanted to. Same idea. Just get a small piece of felt and just build up your scraps with a little image. Absolutely easy. I love this. I think this is my favourite one I've done so far. A little bit more time consuming than perhaps paper. I don't know, I'm not sure. But great fun, awesome fun. And anybody else that's listening that has entered my 1000 subbies challenge, I'm going to be drawing it midweek. I'm having a week off of my normal day-to-day jobs next week, my normal jobs that I do. I'm having a week off to have a bit of me time, to be honest. I'm skiving, so I can do a bit of crafting, catch up on some stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to sort out for my shop, and I'm gonna draw my winner as well. Okay, so there you go. I will be hopefully coming on this week as well with my finished folded bird cage book thingy, what do you call it? So see you later. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye for now.